York, and Kelsey Plum blows the lid off the joint, letting us all in on a small secret. Team Clark, they had no idea what was awaiting them walking into that locker room come WNBA All.
Kelsey Plum completely crossed the line, and Sabrina Ionescu wasn't about to let it slide. What was meant to be a unifying moment for WNBA players during the All-Star game quickly spiraled into an awkward and cringeworthy press conference. Plum unexpectedly took a jab at Caitlin Clark while sitting beside one of Clark's most vocal supporters. The boldness of the move was truly shocking.
We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise, but the t-shirt, just united front was determined this morning, that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very.
The 2025 WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis was meant to be Caitlin Clark's grand homecoming, a celebration of her rising stardom on her own turf. Instead, sidelined by a groin injury, she watched from the bench as her moment faded. But the real blow didn't come on the court, it came after the game, when Kelsey Plum took an unprovoked shot at Team Clark, turning disappointment into full.
Kelsey Plum was at the All-Star Game in Indianapolis. She made quite a scene, bruh. This time, at the conclusion of the game, I was one of the first people to break the story about her actually making comments about Caitlin Clark's team not being at this meeting for the CBA negotiations. Now, we know the WNBA All-Stars came out with these t-shirts, pay us.
The WNBA players had just delivered a powerful statement with their Pay Us What You Owe Us shirt demonstration, highlighting the urgency of their collective bargaining fight and showcasing league-wide unity. It was meant to be a moment of solidarity. Instead, Kelsey Plum derailed it with unnecessary drama, turning the spotlight away from progress and onto petty infighting, revealing the tension and resentment some veterans still harbor toward the league's brightest new star.
Okay, Women's National Basketball Players Association President Brianna Stewart, Vice President, and Nafisa Collier, all on opposing teams from Team Clark. How does it work out that the three biggest players in the Players Association had an idea about wearing a Pay Us What You Owe Us t-shirt, make this decision last minute that this is what the players will do? Team Clark somehow isn't present.
During the post-game press conference, Plum began by describing the morning meeting where players came together to agree on wearing the Unity shirts. But then she veered completely off script, dropping a bomb not to tattle, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. The room fell into stunned silence. The tension was palpable even through the screen. The awkwardness was impossible to ignore.
It's kind of like a genuine surprise, but the t-shirt, just united front was determined this morning, that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just, we had a very, that really needed to be mentioned. I'm trying to make it.
But here's what made the moment truly unbelievable. Sabrina Ionescu was sitting right there within arm's reach, representing Team Clark herself. The disrespect wasn't just subtle. It was loud, direct, and completely uncalled for. Ionescu didn't even try to hide her reaction. She shot Plum a look of utter disbelief, rolled her eyes, and followed up with the most sarcastic clapback of the night. It was a moment that absolutely needed to be called out.
These WNBA players, they get more unlikable every day. And the blatant jealousy, the blatant hatred towards Caitlin Clark is, it's obvious. They don't even try to hide it. We got Kelsey Plum talking about these pathetic shirts that they wore out onto the court. And I'm going to tell you, these players all put these shirts on. And like I said in a couple of previous videos, that backfired.
If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe, because it only gets juicier. The tension was undeniable. Ionescu's expression said it all. This wasn't just uncomfortable, it was wildly out of pocket. A veteran player throwing shade at absent teammates who couldn't defend themselves, all while supposedly promoting unity? The irony was staggering. And if you're wondering why Plum's comments were so off base, let's talk facts. When it was announced that Caitlin Clark wouldn't be playing in the All-Star game due to injury, ticket prices didn't just dip, they plummeted. We're talking a 48% free fall in under 24 hours, from $121 to just $64 for the cheapest seats. That's not normal market fluctuation, that's a full-blown collapse in demand, triggered by the absence of one player, like it or not, that's star power.
Caitlin Clark, she was officially ruled out before all of these things, and look at the news that dropped. This is wild. WNBA All-Star Weekend, it's supposed to be the star of all stars. All the big dogs is out. Asia Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, everybody's out. The big dogs are out. You got the rookie, you got Angel Reese, Miss Me Too. All of the stars are here. And look at this news. The get-in price for the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis has dropped 48% from $121 to just $64 after news broke that Caitlin Clark won.
Think about that for a second. The get-in price for the WNBA All-Star Game, hosted in the hometown of the league's most talked-about player, dropped by nearly half the moment Caitlin Clark was ruled out. Some resale tickets were going for as low as $60. Fans were scrambling to offload their seats at any price, just to minimize the loss. But it doesn't stop there. The ratings tell an even more brutal story. When Clark doesn't play, nationally televised WNBA Game C viewership dropped by a staggering 55%. Her own team's broadcasts fall by 53%, plummeting from an average of 1.81 million viewers to just 847,000. These aren't minor dips, this is a seismic shift. It's not just hype, it's data. Clark isn't just a rising star, she is the league right now.
Would you look at that? Prices for the WNBA All-Star Game have plummeted 49% after Caitlin Clark was ruled out due to injury. Her tick pick. I can't say that I'm surprised by this at all. I mean, no matter how much you love her or hate her, Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA. When she goes, the ratings go. Simply put.
Meanwhile, when Caitlin Clark does play, the numbers are off the charts. Her return game against the Liberty pulled in 2.2 million viewers on ABC, peaking at a jaw-dropping 2.8 million. Games featuring Clark consistently rank among the highest-rated broadcasts in WNBA history. Like it or not, the woman is printing money for her team, the league, and every player on that court. And this is exactly where Sabrina Ionescu showed why she's respected across the basketball world. She didn't let Plum's comments slide. With one perfectly timed, razor-sharp, sarcastic response, she called out the nonsense without missing a beat. But Ionescu's defense of Clark goes far beyond that single moment. When Clark was sidelined with a quad injury, it was Ionescu who reached out, offering guidance from her own battle with soft tissue setbacks. While Plum was taking cheap shots in a press conference, Ionescu was doing the work, uplifting the sport, supporting her peers, and leading with real professionalism. Because she gets it, Clark's success doesn't just benefit Indiana, it raises the bar for everyone in the WNBA.
And latest being this viral Kelsey Plum dig, if you will. And I was in the room for this. It did strike me as very odd in the moment when she said what she said. I wrote it off as kind of awkward, but let me play it for you again, and then I'll respond after the fact. This is what Kelsey Plum said about the T-shirts, and you can, Sabrina Ionescu.
Don't think Caitlin Clark took the disrespect lying down. Oh no, the queen came prepared. When Kelsey Plum posted a series of photos from All-Star Weekend, including one where she posed in front of a Nike logo, despite being sponsored by Under Armour, Clark clapped back with just 6 words, "Thank you for the Nike ad." The brilliance of that response can't be overstated. It was sly enough to seem playful, yet sharp enough to slice right through the hypocrisy. Here's a veteran who took a public shot at Clark, only to inadvertently promote Clark's actual sponsor. The strategic precision of that comeback proves one thing. Clark operates on an entirely different level than her petty critics. And this isn't just a one-off incident. There's a troubling pattern in the league, players going out of their way to minimize Clark's impact, even as they benefit from the very spotlight she brings. The irony is staggering. These are the same players pushing for higher pay through collective bargaining, yet they're targeting the one person whose presence is making those bigger paydays possible. Clark's games are the ratings drivers behind network deals. Her popularity is what's putting fans in the stands. Her jerseys, shoes, and merch flying off shelves. She's not just part of the WNBA economy, she is the engine behind it.
Yeah, I thought that was a little dig at Caitlin. A lot of people definitely thought so. Now, we know Caitlin Clark is a Nike athlete. She's with Nike. And guess who had to pull up to the Nike party? None other than Sabrina Ionescu. None other than Kelsey Plum. My bad, y'all. None other than Kelsey Plum, bruh. Caitlin Clark commented on her picture. Thank you for the Nike ad.
Let's be brutally honest about the business side of the WNBA. Before Caitlin Clark arrived, the league was struggling. It had never turned a profit, attendance was mediocre, and national attention was minimal at best. Then Clark entered the scene and everything changed. Her college games at Iowa shattered viewership records, with the 2024 championship drawing an astonishing 18.9 million viewers, numbers that rivaled major men's sporting events. When she was drafted by Indiana, the Fever transformed from an afterthought into appointment television. Season ticket sales exploded. Merchandise revenue soared. The entire league saw real growth, yet, instead of celebrating the success, some players seem resentful. They want the perks that come with Clark's popularity but refuse to give her credit for generating those benefits. It's like complaining about the golden goose while demanding more golden eggs.
Last year. It's lost money for what? 28 years now? 27 years? 26 years? However long, it ain't never turned a profit. Again, they're about to make more money. They are. The media rights deal, which is where all the money is about to push salaries higher. All right? I think what a lot of people really are sick of is they're sick of the activism part of it, which is what the other night was. Let's go out and show solidarity in protest kind of crap. And sports fans are like, oh, I'm here for the freaking All-Star game. If you want to.
Sabrina Ionescu understands something Kelsey Plum apparently doesn't. Success isn't zero-sum. Caitlin Clark's popularity doesn't take away from other players, it lifts the entire sport. Ionescu has seen her own profile rise alongside the league's growing mainstream attention, benefiting from increased viewership, better sponsorships, and more media coverage. That's why Ionescu consistently supports Clark. Both publicly and behind the scenes, she knows that having multiple stars is better for everyone than having none at all. Her response to Plum's comments wasn't just about defending Clark, it was about protecting the league's best interests. This incident exposes a deeper problem in the WNBA. When the league's biggest star, the one driving revenue and attention, is constantly disrespected, it fosters a toxic environment that hurts everyone. Imagine if NBA players disrespected LeBron or Curry at their peak. It would be seen as unprofessional and bad for business, yet somehow, it's become acceptable in the WNBA to diminish Caitlin Clark's contributions.
It was definitely awkward what Kelsey Plum said. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, and that she was attempting to have some trash talk there. She had taken a shot at Team Caitlin Clark and how much better Team Collier was earlier in the game, and not associate that directly with Caitlin Clark. One, because of the delivery and the awkwardness involved there, and her saying she's trying to lighten the mood. So I think that's what that was supposed to be, but it was completely unnecessary. Didn't need to be said, and certainly, putting it out there publicly